How about that packed house as the drone drops down to ride toward the start-finish line with 39 NASCAR Cup cars. Green flag at Talladega.
These guys have not had one lap of practice. Be mindful of that. First time they've heard their spotters in their ear is right now.
Yeah, you see Joey Logano, that yellow car in the second lane there, leading that second lane. He, in my opinion, was trying to be in heavy conservation mode with fuel, and once he missed that block and they were able to shuffle him out, the guys that want to move forward and get that track position now have put him in a bad spot.
Kyle Busch has raced his way to the front. You know, last year was the first year in a decade and a half that he did not win a NASCAR Cup race, but boy, he came close a couple of times and started this race from the outside of the front row. That's where he is right now alongside pole sitter Zane Smith. This race has completely changed. All the Toyotas went to the top of the racetrack, formed up, and took off. No more holding back to save gas. They're running hard, Larry.
Yeah, Mike, I got information about 5 laps ago that they wanted to pick the pace up because, honestly, the pace we were at, there were some drivers and teams maybe flirting would be able to make that stage without stopping, but now they picked it up a full 2.25 seconds from where we were 5 laps ago. Everybody will have to stop. Toyota wanted to take control of this race.
Watching those Toyotas, and they peel off for pit road, and they're not coming alone. Whole group of cars are going to come in with them. Down to pit road speed, down to 55. Christopher Bell, Bubba Wallace.
Didn't see anybody locking it up coming in. First and foremost, you have to make sure that you minimize the mistakes, Kevin, and locking a wheel up where you have to put tires on instead of gas and go will crush you right here.
14 cars. That's more than a third of the field came in.
Stalled out of Briscoe.
Toyotas. Yeah, Chase Briscoe has trouble leaving, and he comes out last. So the group that stopped were 6 of the Toyotas and half of the Chevrolets. We're told these are the trouble. One car wildly spinning up toward the top of the wall as 2 more go through the infield, including Keselowski and Blaney are involved in a miscue trying to get to pit road.
Busch.
And caution is out for the first time today.
Big damage for Keselowski. I think he's tore up the most. I think the right rear toe link is definitely broke on Blaney on the 12, but I think they can get that fixed.
Let's see this unfold as they come off turn number 4 and head for pit road.
You see how much faster Keselowski and Busch were catching those 3 cars in front of them. Just run out of room. Tried to move down. You see Blaney caught the front end of Keselowski, pretty much ripping the whole front end of his car off.
Well, we're ready to restart. Chris Buescher, Ryan Preece, 2 Fords up front. Christopher Bell up on the outside of the front row with Buescher as we go back to green. 9 laps to go in stage 1.
You're going to see him going at it now.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. These guys know that they want to gather as many points as possible in this stage in case something happens in the next stage or at the end of the race.
Whoa! Something's going to happen, all right.
Bell hard into the wall.
That is a huge hit.
Let's have a look.
Right there on the outside, you can see him getting pushed by the 11. On the exit of turn 2, comes a little bit of a tap, kind of dancing across the back bumper, Kevin. He gets loose, gets into Buescher on the bottom.
Well, one thing with those Toyotas, the Toyotas are hard to push. I wrecked Tyler Reddick that very same way that Denny Hamlin just turned Christopher Bell right there off the front of his front bumper. And there's a little crown on the front of those front and rear bumpers of those Toyotas, and they're much harder to push than the Fords are.
See how that wall comes out right there? He hit that thing almost head on.
We're going to restart with 4 laps to go. Denny Hamlin up on the outside of the front row. Bubba Wallace to the inside as we go back to green.
How about Cody Ware up there in the 51 car on the bottom second row?
Byron Elliott on the high side. 1 to go to the end of stage 1.
Bubba's out quite a bit. Here's a big block. He missed it. Whoa, Kevin, that was close.
Yeah, we saw the 45 car there of Tyler Reddick getting to the back of the 51 and almost had the same wreck that we had off of turn 2 with Christopher Bell.
That was as close to the big ones as it gets.
Bubba Wallace got too far out in front of Cody Ware and lost the energy.
Well, he missed that block on the outside was the biggest one.
Yeah, you see that bottom lane making up a lot of ground right there. Bubba Wallace getting a push from Cody Ware.
Kyle Larson up top, who has never won at Talladega, trying to get the stage win here.
Well, you know he's tired of hearing that stat and wants to end that today.
He missed it again. You got to be careful with them blocks. It was too late again. That's 2 in a row.
Larson, Stenhouse from the middle. Larson coming down, trying to hold them all off and make that car 3 lanes wide. Kyle Larson, William Byron, 1-2 at the end of stage 1. Green flag.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, starting stage 2 right here, boy, the front of this pack sure has changed.
It really has. It's been quite the vicissitude for Kyle Larson. He won that stage, got a speeding penalty all the way to the back of the pack, and now you see these guys up front. William Byron leading the outside lane right there. Definitely a different look for sure. If you wind up not being on the plan, you just pit with whoever comes to pit road at that time.
Chevys.
Here come about half a dozen of them
Chevy's pitted, making lap time.
from mid-pack on
hold
back.
on to it. Whoa. Van Gisbergen slid all the way past all of them. I don't know. I don't think he got it stopped, Kevin.
Yeah,
then did he miss his box?
Yeah, he pulled into the wrong pit stall.
Well, again, I think the performance is there. Kevin, you told me somewhere around 10 cars is what Ford liked to do. That is certainly not what we saw of the Chevrolets, but I feel like the Fords are coming. Here
we
they
go.
are.
A lot of hand waving among the Ford drivers, and here they come to pit road. As we complete lap 111, 7 cars dive onto pit road.
There's
Daniel Suarez missed his stall. Joey Logano gets fuel and goes.
It's not running either.
Keep coming.
Priest finishing up his stop. Cole Custer getting fuel. Austin Cindric, Josh Berry. Logano racing down pit road. Last lap, stage 2. Who's going to get the stage win, the playoff point, and the 10 championship points?
Well, this energy is going to be 2-3 cars back in those lines. Who can get that best energy, and then who's going to pull out? Who wants to take the chance first?
We see
Ford and
Allmendinger
Chevy
with a big run on the outside.
Ford and Chevy on the bottom, Toyota and Ford in the middle row. The top row not a factor right now.
Yeah, and a lot of times what will happen right here, they'll wait until they get about halfway to pit road and the exit of turn 4 before somebody starts to make a move.
Bubba Wallace moved down to the bottom, blocking the bottom lane. Momentum will come on the outside. Here comes Cindric.
Top lane trying to find some energy. Logano goes up to pick up Cindric.
Cindric had to lift.
Yes. And Logano drops all the way to the bottom. Here they come to the line. Bubba Wallace will get the stage win over Logano and Larson, who came back from a penalty to finish 3rd. All right, not everybody's happy the way that stage ended. Here is car number 22.
Way to go, Austin. Way to go, you dumb. Way to go. What a stupid He just gave it to him. Gave a Toyota stage win. Nice job. Way to go. What the
Well, he's mad because he really thought that Austin Cindric would push him to the start-finish line to the stage win. And typically we see those Penske cars do that. They usually work pretty well together, but
he didn't have the run. He had too big a run.
Larson comes back from a speeding penalty to finish 3rd in the
Did you
stage.
see how he shot to the bottom, though? It's
Yes.
because they all stacked up, and that all started with Cindric.
Pit road's open, Josh.
Well, frustrated Joey Logano, not happy with the car either, said it was very edgy, saying, I need you guys to give me something to tighten this thing up. Jamie?
Bubba Wallace happy with that stage end, picked up his 2nd stage win of the season. He comes to a stop. Charles Denick asked him any complaints. He said no complaints. They are happy. 4 tires fill him up here. Regan.
Austin Cindric stopped short and away from the wall more. They have reminded him about that. He got boxed in a little bit earlier. You see right now he's trying not to. Car is good, and he said on the radio, it's all I could do not to wreck Joey there.
And they're on the gas as Briscoe outside Ty Gibbs brings them to green.
Look at the push.
Logano, Smith, look at the speed differential as they charge to the front on the outside. As much as 7 miles an hour different than the Toyotas that have been leading this race. Ty Gibbs has been out in front for 32 laps. Joey Logano's about to lead his 22nd lap of this race. Ready to head to pit road, and here they come, and boy, they got a lot of company.
Wow, Herbst coming around the outside of Denny Hamlin, almost turned it around.
Josh?
Well, 32 laps led for Ty Gibbs, put himself in position for his first career win. Just needs to execute right here.
"12 cars in all on pit road, and Hocevar did come in with the Toyotas, as they had discussed on the radio earlier. Quite a cluster.
Like a pretty good group together pack there, Kevin. I like what I see.
And they're all going to come out together. Hocevar in front of all those Toyotas.
Fords.
10 cars come to pit road, Josh.
Over Joey Logano, that car getting tighter towards the end of this run. Looking for his first win here since 2018, Jamie.
The lone RFK car still standing. Jack Roush was on the box watching his driver. He's led 2 laps today, spent a lot of time in the top 10. He makes his way into his box. Regan.
Zane Smith all the way in pit stall number 1, hits the box nicely. The gas man, Christopher Webb, does a nice job of getting to the car. They're going to try and win the race off right here.
Yeah, and the thing that these guys have going for them that's going to save them time is they're probably going to put in less fuel, correct, Larry?
Definitely less fuel because they have a shorter distance to go.
Oh, Josh Berry and Kyle Busch too fast exiting.
Man, it is something every week, every single week on that 8.
Coming to 11 to go at Talladega, Austin Cindric, who was 25th of all the cars before the pit stop cycle, led his group in and out to hold the lead until just now, with Hendrick Motorsports coming around the outside and William Byron.
When the cars are, the two groups are coming together, you see the slower cars on the bottom, but you're going to see Ross Chastain in the 1 car right here. Cody Ware go to the bottom, and Ross fake a block right there. Denny Hamlin doesn't really know what to do, and Ross kind of faded down, and that slowed the whole Toyota group up. And they were never able to get all the way clear of this group. They were going to blow right by them.
100%. Without that block, a bold move.
But that is a definite strategy that everybody talks about. Put your car in harm's way to try to slow that group down. And
I guarantee you, Denny saw pods in front of him.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he saw.
All right, Cindric eases it so Priest can pull alongside. That keeps the Chevrolets at bay. They're still too wide.
Watch
but
William
for
Byron.
how long as they come to the tri-oval and face the white flag?
Yeah, and you see Kyle Larson down there on the bottom of the racetrack doing everything that he can do to get a side draft off that 60 car Ryan Priest to pull him back.
You want to go now. If that caution comes out, the race is over. Zane Smith spit out. Ty Dillon is out. Here comes Hocevar.
And that'll affect the whole row up on the top.
Off turn 2 for the final time. Still 2 Fords in front of 2 Chevys. In front of a Chevy and a Ford 2 rows back. There's the bump from Larson, trying to get that number 2 out of the way so he can make a move. Who's going to come to the outside?
It's the gaps. The energy's going to come from the gaps. Watch him. See that 5 car slow down? He's trying to create a gap to get a run on him.
And there's those lap cars up in the front. That should help that bottom lane get a little bit of draft coming to the finish line.
Into the tri-oval, final time, jostling 3 wide behind the first 2 rows. Cindric, Priest at the line. Who?
Cindric.
Austin Cindric, Menards, Team Penske, and Ford finally get a race on a drafting track to win for the first time this season.
Well, they've had the fastest cars. They've had the best plan. They've had the best teamwork, but they've had the fastest cars. And today, finally capitalize on those fast cars.
3rd career victory in his 125th start. He won at Gateway last June on Fox. First win at Talladega in his 7th try here